Thank you for joining us for our daily Devo. Have you ever noticed that we all want the approval of other people? I mean, I think it's always been that way, but I think it's tougher now than ever before. And a lot of the reason is social media. I mean, think about it. We'll make a post, we'll load a picture, and then we kind of wait. And we kind of judge our validation off what people do. I mean, do they click that little like button, or even better, the love button? Do they make a comment? And then we kind of look and compare how people comment on our posts compared to others, and we kind of validate ourselves depending how people see it. As a matter of fact, I've made a post before where it's up there and it's like crickets. And I said to my wife, "Hey, Lonnie, can you check and see if that went up there?" I mean, I posted it and it's like no one's commented. And you know what? It was there, just no one was commenting. And I think if we aren't careful, it's really hard not to fall into that trap of thinking our validation, our importance is on how others see us and how they respond. And I think we see that today in Matthew chapter 13, starting at verse 53. Jesus has returned to his hometown, Nazareth. Now, by now, Jesus was pretty well known. Word of mouth had went. They didn't have social media like we did, but they had heard about this guy, Jesus, about his authority, about the miracles that he did. And you would think it would be like the guy who goes to college and wins the Heisman, and you're like, oh, I can't wait. This guy comes home and there's a parade. Or he wins American Idol, or he becomes a famous actor or actress, and they come home and they're so excited. And you know, Jesus comes to Nazareth and he teaches, and what are people's response? It's really different. They reject him. It's like, hey, we know this kid. His dad was a carpenter, and I think they say his profession because carpenters weren't the top of the vocation in that day. You know, we know his mom, we know his brothers, we know his sisters, and they reject him, not because of what he's saying, not because of the truth, not even validated by what he did, but because they just can't. He's just that little kid. They can't accept him. And I love it. You know, Jesus doesn't leave the town. And it says from that point on, Jesus' ministry declined because he was hurt by what people said. See, Jesus knew his calling. And though it may feel good when others recognize it, he didn't need their validation. Remember, he got the ultimate validation when he was baptized and he came out of the water. He had the Father said, "This is my Son in whom I am well pleased." He knew he was doing what was pleasing the Father. And see, I think we have to avoid that trap and not fall into that I'm only important if people recognize my importance. The question is, are we pleasing God? Are we doing what God has called us to do? Are we following the purpose that he has given us for our life? If so, it doesn't matter if no one else recognizes it, if God does. See, if not, we fall into that approval trap, and that is so destructive. Just know, am I pleasing God in what I'm doing? Am I doing what he has called me to do? And though it may feel great to get the recognition and validation of others, what's the most important is to get the validation from God. And to one day know we can stand before him and hear that, "Well done, my good and perfect servant." Guys, thank you for joining us for our daily Devo. I hope you continue with it, and I hope you have a fantastic day.